Coming to you live from the fabulous MediaPlex in downtown Windsor, this is a St. Clair College journalism presentation.
I'm Ashley Davidson, and you're watching MediaPlex News Now. The provincial Liberals have elected a new leader, and Ontario has a new premier. Kathleen Wynne defeated the early frontrunner Sandra Pupatello by 284 votes on the third ballot. Had she won, Pupatello hoped to take over the seat that is held here in Windsor by Dwight Duncan. This morning, Kenton Wolfe sat down with the leader of the Young Liberals of Windsor, Caroline Jacobson, to recap what happened at the convention this past weekend.
Thanks, Ashley. Today I'm joined by Caroline Jacobson, leader of the Young Liberals at University of Windsor. Caroline, I think we're all wondering what happened this weekend with the Liberal Party.
I think everybody's a little shocked. Coming out of the first and the second ballot, Sandra Pupatello was in the lead, even just by a little bit, but she was in the lead. And on the third ballot, we had a couple changes of support last minute. So people that had said they were going to support us and switched in the last minute. But I think the outcome is still really great. We had some really strong candidates. And so no matter what, I think we're all really excited to rally behind a new premier.
All right, and what exactly does this mean for Windsor?
I think people would say it's probably not the best case scenario for Windsor, but I would say that in the past we've had a lot of economic help here from Sandra and Dwight, just because she was the Minister of Economic Development and Dwight was the Minister of Finance. We've had a lot of projects coming in here, a lot of flow economically here. But I think that Kathleen has said she wants to be the premier for all of Ontario, not just Toronto. And people were kind of worried about that because she was from the GTA. But I think Kathleen will be great, and I think she's definitely going to keep things moving forward here in Windsor as well.
All right, well, thanks, Caroline. Back to you, Ashley.
Now let's check in with weather specialist James Zimmerman to see what it's like right now on the corner of University and Victoria. James?
Thanks, Ashley. It isn't as cold as it was last year outside of the MediaPlex, but when will this rainy weather end? We had a low today of 7 and we reached a high of 11 with fog and light rain spreading across the city. I'll be here in just a few minutes to bring you your extended forecast. Back to you, Ashley.
Thanks, James. The Diamond Jubilee Award honors outstanding Canadians, 2 of which are from our local community. Rick Dawes has the story.
Her Majesty would approve. 2 Windsorites have been awarded the Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Award for their outstanding contributions to their community and to Canada. Minister of Finance Dwight Duncan presented the award to Dr. Leonardo Cortese and Carol Derbyshire on January 18th at 2 separate ceremonies. Cortese's ceremony took place at Windsor Regional Hospital's Tayford campus and had a turnout of around 50 people. The attendees listened on as Cortese explained that his actions were merely answering his hometown's call.
And they talked about we need a schizophrenia program, and unfortunately that had probably been triggered by a terrible tragedy that occurred in our community at the time. And they went on to talk about the School of Medicine here was essentially just getting off the ground, and perhaps I could help out with that in some way.
The Queen Elizabeth Diamond Jubilee Award was created to honor Her Majesty and her contributions to Canada. Every year, select Canadians are awarded the medal for also having significant contributions to our country or for making outstanding achievements abroad and bringing honor home.
The second event took place at Windsor Hospice shortly after the first. Derbyshire has made many contributions in the community, but Duncan said he thinks her presence at hospice has been the greatest. Windsor Hospice offers support and education to those affected by life-altering diagnosis and assists in end-of-life care. Derbyshire is executive director at the hospice.
It amazes me that you get medals or accolades for volunteering, but you get so much more out of it than you put into it. And you learn so much. It's an education in itself, so I think if people haven't gotten involved, they're really missing out. They should.
For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Rick Dawes.
Dozens of Windsor residents are questioning the decision to close the post office on the corner of Sandwich and Mill Street. Chris Richards reports.
And Canada Post should be coming down to this community to walk the streets and see what this service means to us, and to meet with the men and women at the Walker Road and explain to this community how reducing services is going to improve their capacity. It's a sham. It's a sham.
Dozens of Windsor residents gathered Saturday, January 26th, on the corner of Sandwich and Mill Streets to protest the proposed closure of the local historic Canada Post Office. Hosted by Windsor West MP Brian Massey and the Cup W Union, which represents Canada Post workers, residents listened to speeches from union leaders, Canada Post employees, and local politicians. Councillor Ron Jones, who represents Ward 2, in which the building is located, questioned the government's logic in closing the post office, given the recent plans to move many government jobs to the Sandwich area.
If HMCS Hunter, with 140 jobs every day coming to the city of Windsor, are coming to Sandwich Town, and the Port Authority are coming to Sandwich Town, I ask the question, does anybody in that federal government talk to one another?
Longtime Sandwich resident and advocate Terrence Kennedy says he feels shuttering the post office will be counterproductive to growth in the area.
The government keeps telling us that they are making a foundation for business to thrive, not only in the West End, but throughout the area. And it's very sad that we have to keep going through this, because if they're making a foundation for us, don't pull the rug out from under us by taking our post office.
Those attending the rally were invited to sign a petition to try and keep the post office open. Residents who are unable to attend the rally are invited to go to the Canada Post website to express their concern.
Should the Sandwich location close, the next closest post office is located on the corner of Campbell and Wyandotte Street. Reporting for MediaPlex News Now, I'm Chris Richards.
On this edition of 5 Minutes With, Adam D'Andrea sat down with local comedian John Palladino.
Hi, I'm Adam D'Andrea, and today we're spending 5 minutes with local stand-up comedian John Palladino. So John, how did you get your start doing stand-up comedy?
Well, the first time I did comedy was actually at Leo's Comedy Corner on Ottawa and Hall, right here in the city. I always wanted to do it since I was a kid. I just watched it growing up. I saw it on the TV, and I just knew from a young age that I wanted to do it, so I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So what are the pros and cons of doing stand-up in a city like Windsor?
Well, there's a lot of on both ends. The pros, Windsor's like a smarter city. A lot of the younger people get a lot of them jokes. It doesn't have to be all like curse words and fart sounds. But in the same way though, you have to take it a step higher, I find, than rather when you go to like I've gone to Michigan and whatnot and other cities. It's just it's a smarter crowd here generally. But they're a little bit harder to relate to as a whole, I find.
Yeah, how so?
There's more of like an artsy university crowd, so you have to find that there's like, you have to relate to them, and then the other dynamic that comes to the shows would be an older demographic, which is harder to relate to as a younger guy. Obviously, you get more like relationship with the crowd that's your age, but that's part of the job, right? For trying to relate with the different people who come to the show.
Okay, so how do you manage to work through the cons and kind of keep doing what you do?
Well, we do different things. We do a lot of, like, we try to do guerrilla marketing with signs and stuff like that. We're doing a lot on the online stuff, like with Facebook and whatnot. We just try to grab as many people to the shows as we can. So hopefully it's like a shotgun approach. Like we can get everyone there. Hopefully we find some people who like it, tell their friends, keep coming back.
What do you mean by guerrilla?
Well, like we post signs all over. We've been handing out flyers. We're doing ads. We've started doing some weird YouTube videos to get people interested. It's all like in progress stuff that we've started doing. We've just recently got like a nice Windsor comedy community started up. Okay. Up until this point, it was pretty much just me and another guy telling jokes at bars. So it's nice that we're getting people interested who want to start doing comedy, and we can start progressing and hopefully make Windsor a place for comedy.
Yeah. And how would you kind of suggest to a new or younger stand-up comedian how to kind of break into the scene in Windsor?
Just try it. There's open mics everywhere. We do open mics at bars, Milk right downtown. Tons of places we do just lots of free open mics. Come on out, tell some jokes, get good at it, and then we can put you in some hopefully paying shows. Hopefully we can get some more paying shows.
Yeah. So the comedian's worst enemy can be a heckler. So how do you usually deal with hecklers or just rude audience members in general?
There's an ongoing debate on how the best way to do it. I give them a 3-step approach. I basically am nice about it at first. You know, I'll just be like, hey, how's it going? Maybe even involve them in the show, talk to them a bit. What do you do? Or make them realize that they're interrupting. If they keep going or whatnot, then I get a little meaner. I don't really insult them, but you know, I try to like, hey, everyone else is trying to enjoy the show, cut it out. Third time, it gets a little rough. I'll say anything, and at the point, usually, if it continues, you know, we'll see if we can get them out of the venue.
Yeah.
So it ruins the show for everyone.
Yeah. So once you get to the third step, they're just kind of fair game.
It's kind of like 3 strikes. I've warned you twice.
Yeah.
Now you're interrupting me.
Yeah. So how do you plan on advancing your career in comedy from here?
Well, we're doing a lot of new shows here in the city. We're trying to work up some new venues, new bar shows, restaurant shows. We're working on like a Valentine's Day show. We're promoting a new web series that we're starting to write. It's going to be called Door Knockers. It's going to be premiering on my website, which is launching in February, hahajohn.com. Check that out. But other than that, we're just going to try to basically put as many irons in the fire as we can, and hopefully we can find something that works and put Windsor on the map in terms of comedy.
Yeah. Have you ever considered moving somewhere else for your comedy?
We thought about it, and it could be in the cards in the future, but we want to get something rolling before we go. We don't want to go, let's just be like the small fish in the big market again. We want to take what we've started and what we've established here in the city, you know, maybe do something with it, get some demos, get some websites going, maybe even a small skit series, web series online, and then take that with us.
Yeah, great.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Yeah. I'm Adam D'Andrea, and we've just spent 5 minutes with local stand-up comedian John Palladino.
Last night, Windsor City Council voted 8-3 on the motion to remove fluoride from its drinking water. This despite recommendations from health and dental experts. In contrast, the City of London voted 10-5 in favor of keeping fluoride in their water. Staying on the topic of health, the Student Representative Council at St. Clair College held their first Health and Wellness Week. Jamie Adam was there.
Hundreds of students gathered at St. Clair College to participate in the first Health and Wellness Week. The purpose of the week is to raise awareness about mental and physical health and provide information and services. Numerous organizations had booths set up, including Hiatus House, Bulimia Anorexia Nervosa Association, Sun Parlor Pregnancy, Windsor-Essex County Distress Center, and Pathway to Potential. Free snow cones and popcorn were also given out to help lift spirits. Deborah Fowler spoke for the organization Neighbors, Friends, and Family in 2 presentations on Monday. The campaign raises awareness about abusive relationships and what to do.
When you ask people in the class who know somebody who's in an unhealthy, abusive relationship, I would say 3/4 of the class raised their hand. So it's something that's going on in this population, and so it's just about getting the information out there.
Student Council President Carrie Vagley said it's important to get information out there about mental and physical health.
It's been more apparent, not necessarily just on this campus, but across Ontario, the need for a health and wellness week. A lot of people are dealing with physical health issues as well as mental health issues, so it's something that affects all of us and something that we definitely need to pay more attention to.
The Health and Wellness Week will continue at St. Clair until Friday. The campaign is planned to continue every October and January. For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Jamie Adam.
Volunteers and staff of the Windsor Canadian Cancer Society encouraged Canadians to quit smoking. Jessica Brisebois brings us the latest in this Health Minute.
Quitting smoking isn't easy, but you're not alone in the battle. It's National Non-Smoking Week, and volunteers and staff from the Windsor Canadian Cancer Society are fighting against cancer by encouraging Canadians to kick the habit. Now, you don't need me to tell you it's bad, but why not breathe a little easier? Let's take a look at the facts. According to Health Canada and the Canadian Cancer Society, every 12 minutes, a Canadian dies of a tobacco-related illness. Children of parents who smoke are over 200% more likely to develop asthma. Smoking is linked to 30% of all cancer deaths in Canada. So here's what you can look forward to once you break the habit. Within 2 days of quitting, your senses of smell and taste begin to improve. Within 2 to 3 months, your lungs work better and it makes it easier to breathe. So we're doing a great job so far. The percentage of Canadians who smoke has decreased. But let's break the habit. I'm Jessica Brisebois, and this has been your Health Minute.
Slater Cuckoo, Nick Ebert, and Joshua Hosang of the Windsor Spitfires are the topic of this week's edition of Sports Talk.
Welcome to another edition of MediaPlex Sports Talk. I'm Kenton Wolf. I'm joined by first-time panelist Mitchie Branner. Mitch, the Spitfires are a team that they've had some real struggles. They're in 9th place right now. They're trying to catch that 8th seed and make the playoffs. What's gone wrong for them the last 3 games? I mean, they've allowed a lot of goals.
Well, what's gone wrong is they're missing their #1 defenseman in Slater Cuckoo. This is a guy they picked up at the trade deadline for a lot of pieces, and he played big minutes when he came here for the handful of games before he got hurt. And now you have to have guys stepping up in his absence and playing in roles that they're not really used to.
Yeah, I think Nick Ebert is a guy who's really stepped up in Cuckoo's absence. I mean, this is a guy we thought was going to be one of the best defensemen in the OHL when we got him, but he's never really played to his full potential, but that might finally start to be happening. Do you think that's what we're seeing now? Definitely. He's playing well on both ends of the ice. He's chipping in on offense, but on defense, he's being responsible as well, clearing the front of the net, getting pucks out, and making sure that he's taking his man. He looks like a new player out there. Yeah, he's playing power play. He's playing penalty kill. I mean, he's making a crisp first pass on those breakouts, but a guy who's not getting the shot that he probably deserves is Joshua Ho-Sang. I mean, this guy is a high-skill player. I mean, he should be used in all facets of the game and being played as much as he can, but this is a player at times isn't even being played in the top six. Why do you think Bob Bugner has such an aversion to playing him? Well, what dumbfounds me is he's not even on the #1 power play. A kid with this skill should be on the #1 power play of any team in the league, let alone one that's fighting for a playoff spot. This is a guy that's got quick hands, quick feet, he can gain the zone consistently, and when he does get the ice time, he's shown that he can produce, but for some reason, Bugner just doesn't want to put him out there. All right, well, this has been MediaPlex Sports Talk. I'm Kenton Wolf. And I'm Mitchell Branner.
Looking for technology to help you stay fit? In this Health Minute, James Zimmerman explains what gadgets are available to help you do just that.
The Consumer Electronics Expo just wrapped up in Las Vegas, where personal data tracking was the theory behind a ton of new devices and technology trends. The idea of tracking your every move might sound a little disturbing. However, the concept is to track things like calories burned, heart rate, and body temperature. Trained professionals can use this information to monitor your overall health. Products can be as simple as the Happy Fork, which vibrates to let you know you're eating way too fast. They can also be as complex as the Fitbit One, which tracks your daily physical activity, sleep patterns, and syncs with an iPhone 4S or iPhone 5. Why does all of this matter? According to Health Canada, 59% of Canadians are considered overweight or obese based on body mass index. With excessive weight gain, Canadians are at a higher risk of developing high blood pressure and heart disease, type 2 diabetes, reduced balance, sleep apnea, breathing problems, or bone and joint problems. Experts agree that keeping a journal of your activities and food intake can help you stay on track with your weight loss goals. I'm James Zimmerman, and this has been your Health Minute.
Now we check in with James for the rest of this week's weather forecast. James?
The weather is certainly warming up in Windsor this week, but did you know that the warmest day in Windsor during winter months was 11.6 degrees and was set in 2006? At the rate the mercury is rising, we might break that record as early as tomorrow. Here's your forecast for the rest of the week. Wednesday, we can expect light rain with a high of 12 and a low of 0. Thursday will be partially cloudy with a high of -4 and a low of -7. Friday, we will be partially cloudy with a high of -6 and a low of -11. You can find all of our stories at themediaplex.com. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at @the_Mediaplex or like us on our Facebook page at MediaPlex Canada. That's your weather for this week. I'm James Zimmerman. Back to you, Ashley.
If you have a great idea but need some funding, a new foundation may have the solution. Tom Morrison tells us more.
Think you can develop an awesome idea with $1,000? A new local chapter of a worldwide organization is giving you 5 chances this year to prove yourself. Awesome Windsor Essex, a part of the Awesome Foundation, announced its plans at a press conference held at the Squirrel Cage. The group will begin donating these grants in March and continue every second month of the year. Dean of Awesome, Nicole Aiden, began developing the group in October and said the trustees don't have any specific ideas in mind.
Generally speaking, we're just really looking for stuff that's going to make the community a better place. And that can be different depending on who's presenting the idea, and it can be different based on each of the trustees and what they think will be awesome.
Like all chapters of the Awesome Foundation, the trustees of the Windsor Group collectively donate the $1,000 grants. Additionally, the group will be hiding 13 pink bags containing $13 at different locations in Windsor and surrounding areas. Hassan Adan, a trustee, said his advice for applicants is to have your own definition of awesome.
Whatever awesome definition that you have is what we're looking for. It's not something preconceived notion idea that this is what we're looking, this is what we're looking. The reason we're so different is that we're looking something that's awesome, that we can't even think about it, that you have the idea on it, and just there's no limitation to it.
Interested candidates have until February 13th to apply for the first grant. Submissions can be made online at awesomewindsor.com. For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Tom Morrison.
During St. Clair College's Health and Wellness Week, a student helps take a stand against bullying. Madison Jean has the story.
A St. Clair College student hosted a bullying presentation at the St. Clair Center of the Arts. Keeping in theme with Mental Health Awareness Week, Ralph Frack shared his personal bullying story with his fellow students.
I wanted to make a difference in someone's life because, you know, being as a kid who got bullied, it's always good to how you can relate a story from another story because you know you're making someone's difference, you know you're helping.
The SRC put on a free pancake breakfast for all students who attended the presentation. SRC President Carrie Bagley said this was just one aspect of Mental Health Awareness Week.
It's just a way for us to let people know that our Health and Wellness Week is going on and to kind of boost everybody's mood and just give a good start to this semester.
Every 1 out of 10 students who drop out do so because of bullying. If you've been a victim of bullying, please visit www.bullying.org. For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Madison Jean.
On another edition of 5 Minutes With, Ashley Godin sits down with Caroline Jacobson, who discusses the future of the Liberal Party.
I'm Ashley Godin, and today we're spending 5 minutes with President of the Young Liberals of Windsor, Caroline Jacobson. So Caroline, how did you first get involved with politics?
Well, I became interested in politics back when I was in grade school. In grade 6, we had the political science unit, and then I watched the Liberal Leadership Convention in grade 7, and I decided I was a Liberal, and it took me from then until my first year of university to actually get involved with a club, but I followed Liberal politics from grade 7 till university.
And what do the Young Liberals do here in Windsor?
Well, during the elections, we provide election support, you know, like door knocking, phone calling, canvassing, supporting the candidates in whatever way we can. But when there's not an election going on, which is quite a bit of the time here, we try to be active members of the community. So doing some charity work, maybe serving food at the downtown mission, just helping in whatever way we can to be active members of the community and show that we're not just here when we need people's support during an election.
Okay. And do you think that your age gives you an advantage at all when you're campaigning?
That's a good question. I think sometimes people are really intrigued to see someone so young at the door. I've gotten a lot of comments on that, you know, like it's great to see young people out in the community, being involved in politics and caring about what's going on in the community. Yeah, I think it does give us some sort of advantage. I think that people aren't so fast to close the door on us. They want to kind of hear what we have to say, and you know, what could someone your age possibly know about politics? And then you kind of surprise them by some of the knowledge you have. So, and bringing personal stories as well is really important.
So why is it so important that we get young people out to vote during elections?
Well, it's really important to get young people out to vote because if young people want anything from their politicians, they have to vote and show that, that they care. So, for example, we saw with the provincial election that the Ontario Liberals were offering 30% off tuition as part of their platform. And so by young people coming out in large numbers to vote for that election, it proved that young people do, in fact, care about what goes on in politics, and we can make a difference. And we see a lot of like policies geared towards seniors because they vote in large masses. Like, we don't have that kind of thing with the youth. So it's really important. If we want things done for the youth in the community, we need to vote and we need to prove that we care.
And we know that equal rights marriage and marijuana legalization were policies put forth by Young Liberals back in the day. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that you're currently working on?
Well, we're currently working on legalization of marijuana. So we just passed the resolution at the Biennial Convention in January that we wanted to include it in our platform. And we have to wait until, of course, we have government to do that, whether or not it's majority or minority, but the next election is not for another 3 years, so we have to wait for that. But we're currently working on it, kind of spreading the word, and hopefully it makes a difference in the next election, whether or not people really care about the policy issue or not.
All right, and we've seen a lot of candidates in the last few weeks step up to the plate for Ontario Liberal leadership, such as Sandra Pupatello. Can you tell us who you're rooting for?
I'm supporting Sandra. I think that a strong Windsor leader would be great as a premier. I think it would be so exciting for the community and bring so much energy. And when Sandra was even a cabinet minister in Windsor, look at all the advancements that happened here in the city. And I can only imagine what would come to Windsor if we had a premier here.
Do you see any political aspirations in your future, such as running for Prime Minister?
Well, I don't know about Prime Minister, but I'd love to run one day, maybe in the very distant future when I have a lot of experience. But yeah, for sure, I'd love to run. But like I said, I really want to make sure I have something to offer the community, and I don't want to run on an empty list of experiences. So I'd want to make sure I get really educated and have lots of experience.
Now, you worked for Dwight Duncan this summer up in Toronto. Can you tell me a little bit about that experience?
Yep, so I was an intern, political intern, and I worked at the Ministry of Finance up in Toronto at Queen's Park. It was an amazing experience to get to work with some really high up people in the provincial government and interact with them on a one-on-one basis. At the end of the summer, I also helped out on the Kitchener-Waterloo by-election, which was also really exciting. So there was a lot of great experiences this summer.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Ashley Godin, and we've just spent 5 minutes with Caroline Jacobson, President of the Young Liberals of Windsor.
St. Clair College and the University of Windsor held their 14th annual job fair. Melissa Russo attended the event.
Students are dressed to impress. The 14th annual job fair, hosted by St. Clair College and the University of Windsor, was held January 22nd. The fair attracted 73 employers and expected to host about 2,000 students seeking part-time, full-time, and seasonal work. The schools provided shuttle bus services to students and alumni who planned on attending. The University of Windsor's Career Development Coordinator, Yvonne Curry, said she was pleased with the event's turnout.
Well, certainly I think that the employers are here with the intention of hiring, and they know who the audience is today. So I think we have very good success in students making connections with employers, getting to know people, getting to know what's out there, and the employers in return getting to know the students.
Representatives from the agricultural, education, financial services, health, hospitality, insurance, military, and government sectors filled the St. Clair Centre for the Arts. This gave students the opportunity to speak face-to-face with the industry professionals who are looking to hire. Taria Gittins, a recent graduate from St. Clair College, says despite Windsor's high unemployment rate of about 10%, she is still hopeful for a full-time job.
I think it's difficult to get a job right now just because of the timing and the economy and stuff like that, but you keep trying, everyone will get a chance, right?
Jasmine Oglin from Wind Mobile says there are many part-time employment opportunities, especially for students.
There's a lot of interested people here for part-time work, and we definitely need part-time employees at our center. And we always encourage students to actually come and work at our center.
Many employers agreed their ideal candidate must be knowledgeable in their field, outgoing, love to learn, and show initiative. The next job fair is scheduled for the fall. For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Melissa Russo.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Ashley Davidson, and you've been watching MediaPlex News Now.
MediaPlex News Now is a production of the St. Clair College Journalism Program.